This is the Puma Thoughts Podcast.
First episode of 2020 of Puma Thoughts Podcast. I'm Puma, and it's been a long time, and so we're just going to jump right into it. I've had a week to digest the Bills' playoff loss, and I am still not over it. They should have won that game. I mean, it's fairly obvious at this point that they should have won that game. There's probably a lot of blame to go around for that. McDermott probably deserves a little bit of it, based on some of the adjustments that maybe weren't made in the second half. Dable, some of the play calls, some of what they were trying to do offensively wasn't working. Offensive line deserves a little bit. Allen got creamed on a few plays, didn't have time to throw on certain ones. The players didn't make some certain plays when they had the chance to do so. And, you know, there was just a lot that could go around. You don't just give up a 16-point lead. Regardless of the fact that they went to overtime, it shouldn't even have got there. The game should have been over. The one biggest thing, my takeaway, is the kickoff that was ruled a touchback, that was first ruled a touchdown. That drove me nuts because apparently all you have to do is just make a signal that says, oh, I'm not, to my blockers, I'm not coming out. You can catch it, then just flip it to the ref and walk away, and then it's a touchback. I didn't realize that changed the rules where you don't have to take a knee anymore, but okay. That drove me nuts mostly, but I think the explanation of which is driving me crazy even more because everyone's saying that it's common sense. John Perry said that during the game, that it's common sense that, he wasn't coming out. It's a touchback. It is not the referee's job to determine intent. It is their job to enforce the rules. The rule states that on a kickoff, if you have to catch the ball. If you take a knee in the end zone or make another motion to not advance the ball, that is ruled then a dead ball. All he did was technically catch it, and he flipped it, which is a live ball, mind you. So I don't understand why everybody say, oh, it's common sense. It has nothing to do with common sense. It's either rules. Either take a knee or run out of the back of the end zone. That was a touchdown. I'm not just some butthurt Bills fan on this. That's just the rule. That drove me fucking nuts. Then the helmet to helmet on Josh Allen in overtime that wasn't called. Probably should have been called. I understand it's a runner. When he's a runner, it's different, but that was a big call, missed call. The delay of game that wasn't called on Deshaun Watson in overtime was another one. I believe it was overtime. Was another big one that everyone keeps saying, everybody knows you get an extra second delay. It was a little more than a 1 second. It was maybe 2 Mississippis, I would say. Like it was enough to where a flag should have been thrown. Like there's little things. But the play Deshaun Watson made in overtime, miraculous as it may be, Milano didn't wrap up. I believe it was Ciaran Neal was the safety that got in there too. I think it was him. They didn't wrap up. When you don't wrap up, shit like that happens. But my biggest thing is that the Bills didn't put it away when they needed to, and that completely cost them in overtime, as everybody saw. And the Texans tried to give it back at the end of that game. They definitely did. The Bills had a shot. But the going forward on 4th and 27 drove me insane because this team has never shown any kind of aggression at all throughout the season to do that. So 4th and 27, you go for it. And then on the 3-man rush, you give up a fucking sack? Are you kidding me? That offensive line did Josh Allen no favors in the second half at all. The one play stands out in particular where Allen took the ball on a keeper. He had 3 blockers, and the free safety still lit him up. That is inexcusable. If that is a design play call, boggles my fucking mind. As you can tell, I'm still very upset and fired up about this game. And it's a week that I've had to deal with it. It's just, oh my God. The conservative nature of this team came back to bite them when it mattered most because touchdowns win playoff games, not field goals. And you keep pinning on your defense. And then when you try to get aggressive, everybody kind of can forecast what you were going to do. And a 3-man rush was getting a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. And that's a problem. The offensive line may have played better, but it wasn't good enough. It was bad. The second half was rough for that offensive line. Allen had to make some better decisions, but for the most part, if you're running around for your life, not getting any time, J.J. Watt or not, you have to change something. And then the press conference makes it sound like they're not really going to re-sign anybody, which kind of sucks. But you kind of just go for it. Oh my God, there's so much else. There's so much else, but not so much else. I think I hit everything major I wanted to hit. The whole ESPN crew, Booger McFarland's he was terrible. He wouldn't shut the hell up about J.J. Watt. I hated that shit. And then they kept talking about Deshaun Watson texting the offense about, let's be great. And then when he made that play in overtime, it's like, oh my God, he's a superstar. He's so amazing. Like, Jesus Christ, really? I don't know. It's just, so many things should have went different in that game. And the Bills should be playing this weekend. It should be. They let that game get away. The first chance they had at winning a playoff game. Hell, the second chance, since the drought pretty much ended, the second chance they had at winning a playoff game in 25 years. And they let it slip away. Again. Should have beat Jacksonville 2 years ago. They should have beat Houston this time. Just frustrating. Just very, very frustrating. Oh, my God. But I don't know. So where do the Bills go from here? There are a lot of free agents on the team per se. They're going to have upwards of $90 million cap space. So they'll have some room to work with to re-sign some guys. I hope they would re-sign Jordan Phillips because he is, I felt, a bigger piece to the defense. That was definitely a bigger surprise. Will you get another Pro Bowl season out of the guy? Remains to be seen. You could take that risk. He was a kind of a scrap heap pickup at one point, and he turned into a 10-sack defensive tackle. That's not bad. That's mostly good coaching, I would say. Shaq Lawson is another guy probably looking like they should have picked up his option so they didn't have to make this decision now. But they didn't pick up his fifth-year option on his rookie contract, so now he's a free agent. And then you got a couple guys on the offensive line. I know Waddle. He was hurt anyway. He didn't play at all this season, but he's a free agent. Quentin Spain, another guy. So there are decisions to be made, whether or not who you're bringing back. You can always look at free agency. It looks like Amari Cooper is going to be a free agent as of right now. That is going to be a telling need for the Bills. They need a wide receiver. And maybe if A.J. Green's available in trade, the Bengals might be willing to do a deal there. Or you go to the draft and find a guy, but I would say the Bills should focus still on keeping the defense intact as best they can. The conundrum they're going to have in probably 2 years is whether you're keeping Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde. They're both under contract next year, but one is entering. I believe it's Poyer has one more deal after next season, one more year after next season, and Hyde is a free agent after next year. So that is when you're going to have to make decisions there. So hopefully Sierra Neal comes on at safety. Maybe you sign another guy in free agency. Maybe you draft a guy, kind of bring him along. But you're going to have to start finding playmakers on your defense that are going to stay here for the long haul and take advantage of the time they already have in the league. Offensively, it's, I would say, shoring up the offensive line and then finding a receiver. I feel Dawson Knox could be a nice safety blanket for Allen, but it was his rookie year. He had a few drops. He needs to get better there. That's mostly just an off-season workout. You know, have your quarterback we'll just work out in the off season with each other. That should be okay. It's mostly a chemistry thing, I would say, more so than an actual X's and O's thing. So there's that. I would say figuring out the running back situation. Frank Gore's not going to play forever. If he's even going to be on the team next year, who knows? But Devin Singletary looks like he is going to be the real deal. So do you find another bruising back to have a smash and dash kind of mixture back there? Or do you let it ride with Singletary and keep Yeldon on as a backup? I don't know. Is Duke Williams going to be more of a focal point for this team next year at receiver? There are decisions to make. The team is still pretty deep talent-wise. They're going to be okay. Honestly, I haven't looked at any mock drafts. I haven't looked at players coming out of the draft. I haven't looked at anything like that yet. Mostly because I'm still not over this playoff loss. So once I'm done grieving and get over it, then I will do that. But we still got tons of time left. The Bills, I don't know exactly where they're drafting. Again, I haven't really checked anything draft-wise, but I know they will probably have the best of the remaining playoff teams draft position. So that's good. Very good. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to get to without ranting an extraordinarily lot. But that's what I'm going to do. So my dog is just constantly running under my desk. But yeah, I mean, again, I could spend so much time on this. I'm just not going to because it's only going to make me upset. So we're probably going to cut this short now, and then I'll just get a run down the divisional round matchups starting this weekend, which they all should be pretty good. And then I'll give you my Super Bowl picks, I think. I'll go on a limb and see how close I get. So that'll be tons of fun. So quick break. Be right back. Everybody, let's get into the second half of the program today. The NFL's Elite Eight, the divisional round, starts Saturday at 4:35 p.m. with the Vikings and Niners, and then 8:15 Saturday evening is the Titans and the Ravens. Should be two pretty good games. Sunday, you're looking at 3:05 p.m. is the Texans and Chiefs, and 6:40 p.m. is the Seahawks and Packers. Vikings-Niners should be a pretty good game. I think it is two pretty good teams. I know the Vikings, probably shouldn't even really beat the Saints, but the Saints kind of beat themselves at the end, it seems. But, man, Saints just can't catch a break, but the Vikings look like they are really doing good things. Kirk Cousins looks like he's kind of playing within himself enough, and they definitely won the game. He made that throw to Thielen at the end of the Saints game to win it for them. The Niners are definitely going to be no easy task for sure, but I would tend to maybe trust Minnesota more so in this spot than the Niners. Not saying that the Niners can't win this game. They're definitely, the number one seed in the NFC, so makes sense. But I think the Vikings could be poised to make the upset here. It really just depends on who's going to make plays for the Niners outside of George Kittle. They're running back by committee. It kind of whoever gets hot, they'll ride. They'll probably ride the hot hand. Shanahan normally does that. Their receivers, it's kind of a ragtag group, but, they kind of get the job done. Their defense, though, is no joke, so that'll be a really tough test, but the Vikings have played tough defenses all year. I just like the Vikings skill positions on offense better than I like the Niners. And I think with the win last week, that'll give them the confidence, especially for Cousins, I think Diggs is better than the receivers the Niners have. I think Thielen is better than the rest of the Niners receivers. And I like Dalvin Cook more so than some of the other Niners running backs. But, it's really going to – I think this game is going to more come down to defense than anything. And the Niners have the edge there, I think, for defense sake. But offense has got to do something. And I think the Vikings will have a little bit more. So I think the Vikings might win that game and go on to the NFC Championship game. Titans and Ravens. The Titans, kind of locked it down against the Pats, did what they had to do, did that fun little delay a game, offsides, delay a game thing. That was nice. That was real good. That was Belichickian by Mike Vrabel. Very nice. But the Ravens are the hottest team in the league for a reason. Lamar Jackson's killing it. The running game's on point. Mark Ingram is more than likely to go. I know he's questionable, but, everybody's questionable now. So I would say the Ravens would have more of an edge than the Titans do. I just feel like the Ravens got more offensively as far as the ground and pound. I know the Titans, probably the best rushing team in the league with Derrick Henry, but the Ravens got Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram. The 1-2 punch, and their defense can make plays when they need it to. So I think the Titans will make it interesting. They'll kind of keep it close enough, but I feel like the Ravens will take that one. Texans and Chiefs. I don't know if the Texans, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, it's a week-to-week thing, and it's the second round of the playoffs, but the way they played in the second half against the Bills, it's like, wow, this team is really poised. But the Texans are one of those teams that always rely on their superstars a bit too much to win games. I feel like it's just, it's on Deshaun Watson, it's on DeAndre Hopkins, it's on J.J. Watt to all make plays. And if they don't, then it's just, oh, well, we came up short. And I feel the Chiefs have, one thing on their mind, and that's Super Bowl. Like, they got to go through Baltimore to do it, more than likely. So I think I would trust Patrick Mahomes in this situation more so than I would Deshaun Watson. Not saying Watson can't do it. I just like the Chiefs more so because they're at Arrowhead in the playoffs. It's already a tough place to play. I just think that they're more poised to win a game like this than the Texans are. So I think the Chiefs would go on to win that one. Seahawks-Packers could be interesting. The Packers this year have just been a team that I just don't look at as being the second best team in the NFC. I really don't. Like it doesn't feel like they are for some reason. I just don't know why. Maybe their offense isn't what it used to be. Their defense got much better, but they found a way to win games. They're one of those quiet. It just seemed like they were a very quiet team. Nobody's really talking about them this year. The Seahawks, again, go on the road. They did what they had to do last week against Philadelphia. I think this would be one of those toss-up games. I feel either team could probably win this game. I don't see the Packers winning it for just, I don't even really know the reason. I don't know if it's just going to be because the Seahawks are better or because it's just, one play or another. But I feel like it'll be a last possession thing. I just don't know if the Packers will win this game. I know it's in Lambeau, but I don't know. Lambeau isn't one of those mysterious places anymore. People can go in there and win in the playoffs. It's happened more so since the turn of the 2000s than anything else. So I don't know. I just see the Seahawks maybe scoring the upset here and then going to the NFC Championship. So your NFC Championship, the NFC Championship, I got the Vikings and the Seahawks, and your AFC Championship, Ravens, Chiefs. I don't even know. In the NFC, I think I'd be fine with either team, to be honest. I think the Vikings maybe more so deserve a shot at it, more so than the Seahawks do. The Seahawks have not that, either team doesn't deserve it, but I don't know. I think the Vikings would be a kind of a fun team to see, just because, again, I like their skill players more around the quarterback, more so than I like the Seahawks. But DK Metcalf had a big game last week. He's not poised to duplicate it, but I just feel you could rely on the Vikings offense a bit more than the Seahawks. So I would say maybe the Vikings. I would think the Vikings maybe take that one. As far as Ravens-Chiefs go, man, it'd be tough. The Ravens are a really hot team. They played already this season. It was a real shootout. The Chiefs ended up winning. But it'll probably be more of the same. It'll be in Baltimore this time. I think I would maybe pull for the heart for me. I think I would love to see Andy Reid get to another Super Bowl. I want to see him win it. I would love that. So I think I would lean more towards the Chiefs getting it done this time. And they would beat the Ravens in the AFC Championship games. You'd have Vikings-Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think that would be cool. And I think, I would probably root for the Chiefs in that one more so just because, again, I would love to see Andy Reid win one. So I would pick the Chiefs to win it all. That's right. I feel like I'm going out on a limb. It's nice not to have to worry about the Patriots, though, isn't it? It's so great. So great. So that's more or less my NFL rundown for the rest of the playoffs. I've been very sporadic with the shows anyway. It's just tough with my work schedule to kind of pin down times to do this. And because, it's not like this takes me 5 minutes to just throw together. I try to give you some time to actually listen, to make it worth everybody's while, and then try to post it and edit and all that fun stuff. As you hear the jingling in the first segment, it's because my dog was running around my office here. So you guys aren't going crazy. You aren't hearing things. It's just trying to wrangle a 6-month-old puppy is difficult. So just give her something to chew on and hope she doesn't start barking for some reason. So I apologize for that. I'm definitely going to try my hardest to distract her a bit more, or try not to have her in the room, but it's tough because she likes to bark and howl and, do puppy things. So, but as far as that, that's pretty much all I had. Football-wise, I know the Sabres are hit and miss, and they just lost to St. Louis. At the time of recording this, they lost yesterday, 5-1, I believe it was. Hooray. So I listened to a little sports talk radio today about that, and they are kind of scratching their head as to why some of these players are still on this team, which is interesting. Bogosian asked for a trade, but his salary probably makes that tough. Nobody wants to take on a skating hip injury with $5 million a year. Reinhart can go anytime, in my opinion. I've said it before on this show. I'll say it again. I don't feel like he is a franchise cornerstone. He had ample time to prove it. He has not. He was. Jason Botterill said that he could carry his own line. He hasn't done that this season. Skinner's decline, I think everybody knew it was going to happen. New coach, new scheme. He's not on the same line as Eichel. So it is what it is. Everybody's going to give him shit for that, but you re-sign a 40-goal scorer. You just do. You don't have to really go into much more detail than that. You score 40 goals, you get re-signed. You just do. Because if you let him go, then it's just, you let go a 40-goal scorer. You can't win. Jack's on pace to have like a bajillion goals anyway. So just, you got to do something. And the sad part is this team might stay in the race long enough to miss out on being buyers at the deadline or being sellers. I don't see the wheels completely falling off just yet, but I feel like they'll be him and Hahn around. Everyone will think they're like, oh, they could be sellers because they need to get rid of guys, but they'll try to buy, and then they'll overspend on a guy, and then it just won't, I don't know. It just won't work the way it's supposed to be planned. Honestly, if they could ship out a Reinhart, a Bogosian, if they're going to trade Ristolainen, just do it already. The trade deadline, everybody has a lot more value. So do what you got to do. Even acquiring draft picks doesn't even seem to be a rational thing for this team to do anymore because they're not really panning out that much. What are you really doing with them? Guys aren't stepping in day one and scoring 15, 20 goals to help out. for second and third scoring purposes. So what are you really getting from your draft picks? Just stocking Rochester? That's nice and dandy, but if you're not bringing these guys up to contribute, what's the point? Like, go after guys that are at least established in this league. Yeah, you want to keep your salary cap down, but it makes more sense to build a team that can kind of compete now, because at the very worst, you can just make deals and tweak lineups as you go. But that's generally the most of what I'm dealing with the Sabres, that's for sure. But, we'll see how it goes. There's still more season to go. The trade deadline will be interesting. But the All-Star break is coming up a couple weeks, 2 weeks, I think, something like that. It's coming up soon. I know that. The Sabres just had their skills challenge recently. That's kind of what they do around the Christmas holiday. So that's kind of nice of them. But we shall see what goes on with that. I will definitely try to get another show out for conference championships for the NFL, and definitely one hopefully by the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl maybe. I'm going to have to work that weekend, which blows. But duty calls. Duty calls. But for now, that is the show. A reminder, you can read the blogs and hear each episode of the podcast on the website, pumathoughts.blogspot.com. You can go to Facebook and share and like the page there. Puma Thoughts, you can go to Twitter, follow me at Puma585, or follow the show at Puma Thoughts. You can listen to the show on YouTube. I'm definitely going to try to post that there today. Go to YouTube, search for Puma Thoughts, click subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications every time a new episode is posted. And that's all I got for you this week. Have an awesome day, everybody. I'm out of here.
Oh, hey!